Reckless students, welcome back to Notions with Nathan. We just want to welcome a very special guest. He is the director of BigStuf, and from what I understand, a little bit of a singer as well. Trey McKnight, welcome. Thanks for being on today. How you doing, man?
I'm so good, Nathan, man. Thank you so much for having me. It's been an intense and busy few weeks, but we're making it as best we can. So I'm good.
You guys are definitely going through the ringer trying to figure out this whole thing out, but I appreciate you taking time to be with us. So, guys, if you don't know, Trey heads up BigStuf and does a wonderful job directing and motivating and putting everything together. I know he's going to say, no, I don't do all that, but he does. He really does. I've heard enough testimonies from other people that says that's exactly what he does. So, but he does a wonderful job, and like everyone else, they have just been through the ringer this year and this summer trying to get everything figured out this spring. But Trey, welcome, number one, and number two, just give us a little background about how you came into the BigStuf family. How did everything sort of start out for you?
Yeah. Kind of a long story, but I'll condense it because I don't want to bore everybody. Yeah, basically, so back in 2005, which most of you watching, you were probably like 2 or 3, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, back in the mid-2000s, the original kind of the founder of BigStuf, his name was Lanny Donahoe. We went to the same church. We go to the same church, and he approached me after I'd been singing on stage one day, and he said, "Hey, man, I'd love for you to come sing at BigStuf." And I looked at him, I said, "Well, what's a BigStuf?" And so he tells me, it's this summer camp down at Panama City Beach. Start telling me about it. I'm like, okay, cool. Sounds fun. Yeah, I'll do that. It wasn't until I got down there and realized like how big of a deal it was. I'm thinking, man, this is amazing. This is incredible. If I could come back here every summer and be a part of this, like that would make my life, And then they didn't ask me back for 5 years. So
crushed.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what I did wrong, but all in God's timing, obviously. But 2010, I came back as a singer again, and I did 10, 11, 12, 13. I skipped 14 because I'd started a new job, and they wouldn't let me have enough time off to do it. But then came back in 15, and then in 16, I think it was, came back as a host and a breakout speaker, working in the Leader Lab. And then late the following year, in 2017, started having a conversation with my boss, the CEO, executive director, Jamie Eichler. And he just said, "Hey, man, I've been thinking about a new position, just somebody kind of come help me run the team and kind of lead, all the charge for camp as camp director. What do you think?" And I thought, man, it sounds cool. Like, I don't know what I can bring to that. You guys are already doing an incredible job, but I guess, I'll consider it. I'll talk about it. So it was actually a multi-month conversation. I was working at a great church, had students that I was leading there as a high school director. And so really, really great ministry there. And we were having a blast. And, really it was just about trying to figure out if the transition was the right thing and then how to make the transition. And eventually we did, figure out this was the right step, got into it. And I think a lot of times God will give you little pieces of what something could look like, but rarely will ever give you the full picture.
Yes.
In an effort to try to get you just to say like, "Hey God, I trust you with this thing that you've given me that I don't know what's on the other side, but I'm going to take a step." And we took a step, and I can tell you it has been one of the best decisions that I ever made in my life. And you mentioned all the great things that we do. I am going to say, I do have an incredible team who does most of that.
Every good leader should. I like it.
And so they're incredible people. I love every one of them. They've all been working hours on hours especially through the last few weeks to figure all this out. But just on the whole, man, we all come from ministry, student ministry of some sort. We love students. We love student ministry. And it's an honor and a privilege to get to serve with them every day.
I tell you, BigStuf has been such a huge influence for so many people that I know, not just the students that I have brought down there the couple of times that we've come, the few times that I've come, but just the difference of how people come away from the BigStuf offers. There's wonderful summer camps everywhere. There's wonderful camps everywhere. But every time that's something that I hear is that this was something different, and that's a testament to the heart of what you guys bring.
Wow.
to the table every year. And I think that is what has made BigStuf so successful, is that heart of who they are, and how people come away with, this wasn't just a summer camp where I found, a couple of friends that I could talk to from Colorado, or, hey, this was I could text this guy back and forth because he was cute or something like that. But, students really come away changed. And that is just a testament, because it's such a focus day in and day out on what you guys bring, not just with the speakers, but with the music and just the relationship that is in between those times. So you guys do a wonderful time with that. Well, let me ask you this, if you don't mind. Out of all the years you've been there, all the experiences, everything that you have, I mean, I can just list the 2 or 3 times that I've come now. I can list in my head all the different experiences and how that has impacted my ministry.
Yeah.
Do you have one that stands out to you that had just blown you away, impacted your ministry and who you are as a person when it comes to a BigStuf experience?
Yeah, I mean, there are lots and lots and lots of them. I think one of the things, and this isn't a specific time, but I can think back to a couple specific times where I think it meant more in the moment than maybe some of the other times. One of the things that I used to love to do, and I still do on camps, that if my team tries to get me to sing still, and sometimes I'll let them. I'm like, I got too much other stuff going on, y'all. But one of my favorite things to do is at the end of each camp, we have kind of that last night where we do the night of worship and all that. I am so sorry. I generally put my
You're fine.
computer on do not disturb. See, you would think that I was a pro at this, but as many of these as I've been on lately. Sorry about that. But so I love to stand there, and there have been a few moments where we have had just this like super powerful worship experience. I mean, it's all powerful. It's all, God-filled, and his presence is there and all that. But where you just have these moments, and I can just think back to a couple times where after we get done and I'm watching the students kind of in the room and just kind of looking at their faces and looking at how they've just gone for it for the past hour or however long we were up there.
Yeah.
And I just stand there and just watch. And it's just cool to see, like, to watch the transgression between when students walk in the room, because you guys are walking in the room with, you're carrying everything that you've been dealing with at home. You're carrying, the stress and the struggle of maybe what your home situation looks like, or maybe some friend situation, or maybe your boyfriend or girlfriend just broke up with you, or, whatever the deal is. And it's like they walk into the room with just carrying things,
Oh, yeah.
It's really cool for us on stage, and for me specifically, to stand and watch that transformation happen throughout the week. So where by the time we get to the end of the week, it's like you've seen change happen. You've seen people take steps. You've seen people do and say and adjust things in their lives that moves them in the direction of what we call the best life in Jesus. And so that's one of them for me. The other side, and this just happened just this past summer. Our theme was well known, and I don't know which camp that if you guys were at this one or not, but we had one where we interviewed a guy named Brendan, and he just told his story. He was driving a car that was involved in a wreck, ended up losing a friend of his. A couple of our interns, he was an intern with us. A couple others of our interns were there in the car with him, and they all told their story. To get to share his story, to watch him share his story, and then to see how it was tied and connected to Death Was Arrested. It's a really, really cool story. If you go and you can find it, and we've got it somewhere. But that was just one of those things that just shows me how intentional God is.
Yes.
In maybe moments of crisis in our lives, or in times when maybe we're struggling with something, but there are other things happening around the world, or maybe in the vicinity that's close to us or whatever. Yeah. I could go on about like all the little details of why that story comes together. So cool. And maybe we can do another one, and I can tell the whole story. But that was a really cool moment for me, and I think for a lot of us, to see how intricately God was mapping out the details of what was not only happening in St. Louis, but then what was also happening right down the road from BigStuf in Panama City Beach at the very same time that it was happening, when the wreck happened and the song was being written, and just all these different things kind of all came together in the same moment. That was really, really cool.
Wow.